Information Morning Sports Talk. Let's go.
Hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, work. There you go.
Forward!
Hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, work. There you go.
Forward!
Hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, work. There you go.
Forward!
Hard work, hard work, hard work.
Fall in. Hey, so good morning, good morning, good morning. Y'all know what it is. It's me, your boy Trey, and welcome to First Formation Morning Sports Talk. So come on and fall in with us as we get to talk about the sports as we know that this happened over the last couple of days. Just sports talk for the most part. But sometimes we tend to stray into other things, conversations, military service, other things that seem to be happening in the world. You never know what you're going to get. Life is like a box of chocolates. But in any case, good morning. It's Tuesday morning. If you're counting down the days to the end of the week, you got about 4.5 days to go, 3.5 days to go. Tuesday, tomorrow will be a hump day. Thursday, and then Friday, the weekend's back upon us again. As we get closer and closer to that day, we're going to talk about more and more. Of course, presently in the present, what's going on. Yesterday, as we was getting off the show, of course, we heard about the momentous occasion for Jalen Hurts in the NFL. Philadelphia Eagles quarterback, as he gets his bag as expected. As others that we expect. So he currently has set the market. Additionally, of course, staying in that vein with the Philadelphia fan base, last night the 76ers tapped in. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit. So it's a whole lot going on. And basically you're going to get into it. If you ain't been paying attention, the National Hockey League started their Stanley Cup playoffs. As they're tapped in, getting around and going about it. First and foremost, last night, the Kings played the first of their game series against the Edmonton Oilers, in which the Kings came out victorious 43, currently leading the series 1-0. You know, we're going to start off with there. Let's go LA Kings. The Islanders and the Hurricanes faced off. Tampa Bay, the Hurricanes were able to take care of business, getting the 2-1 lead, to take a 1-0 lead for the Carolina fan base. I guess it's starting off early. If they get into the groove, maybe the Carolina Panthers get into the groove, and then we have more celebrations going on in the Carolinas. I feel it. I see what's going on. The Boston Bruins faced off against the Panthers, in which they took a one-series lead with the 3-1 lead last night. And then last but not least, the Minnesota Wild dispatched the Dallas Stars by the score of 3-2, taking a 1-0 lead in their series. Of course, keeping in the action, the New York Rangers and New Jersey Devils face off tonight for their Eastern Conference round one, game one series. Tampa Bay Lightning and the Toronto Maple Leafs get their just doing. The Golden Knights and the Jets will face off tonight, and last but not least, the Seattle Kraken and the Arizona Avalanche get their game cracking as they also play for their game one series respectively. Of course, in MLB action, last night the New York Mets handled the Dodgers. What's good, Knief? What's going on, TT? How are you feeling back from Denver, getting re-energized? I hope you had a great time. Glad to have you with us in formation this morning. Like I say, New York Mets gets the dub last night over the Los Angeles Dodgers by a score of 8-6. The Los Angeles Angels took care of business over the Boston Red Sox 5-4. The Florida Marlins, Miami Marlins, take care of the San Francisco Giants by the score of 4-3. Tampa Bay Rays lose their game. As you know, Tampa Bay was hitting on all cylinders, went deep 13-0 in the season to start the season. take an L to the Cincinnati Reds by the score of 8-1. The Texas Rangers goose egg the Kansas City Royals 4-0. Arizona Diamondbacks get the dub 6-3 over the St. Louis Cardinals. Toronto Blue Jays fall to the Houston Astros by 7 points deficit, 9-2 in that score. The Pittsburgh Pirates and the Colorado Rockies tap in which the fan was just there at the Rockies getting the schedule, getting a tour. But that's about as good as it went as the Rockies fall to the Pirates 14-3. The Chicago Cubs and the Oakland A's face off. Cubs get the W 10-1. Milwaukee Brewers and the Seattle Mariners. Brewers walk away with that win 7-3. The Atlanta Braves and San Diego Padres, with the Braves defeating them 2-0. Last but not least, postponed games, the Cleveland Guardians and Detroit Tigers due to weather, as well as the Philadelphia Phillies and the Chicago White Sox due to wind get postponed. But in any case, of course, more games to be played tonight as they run it back all series. If you know watch baseball, you know they usually play the series, which every team is going to get an opportunity to run that back, of course. Excuse me, pardon me. Currently, the Tampa Bay Rays lead the league or 14-3 record. And the beat goes on. So, of course, yesterday, if y'all was tapping in, y'all were able to see what we had a couple of coaches that were on yesterday after winning their championships in their respective conferences. Of course, it was a bunch of coaches that won, as I said, Coach Red and the Waymack and the Hindemeyer. They got the dub completed. Runner-up in that league, I think, was Fort Lee. And then, of course, like I said yesterday, CMAC is Coach JP and the Herbert walked away with their victory, as well as Coach Miller and for CMB and the CUSMLBL walking away with theirs. You know what I'm saying? And what's interesting, like we talked about, two coaches in which are newly minted in their first year of playing. So I don't know. Maybe there's a change in the guard. We're going to see if if these coaches will have what it take as they get ready to face off next week in a couple of weeks in the National Military Basketball Tournament down in San Antonio. For CMB, they have an opportunity to pull a trifecta as they have an opportunity to win go ahead and continue to push on with their winning ways to get possibly a National Military Basketball Tournament championship, and then go on to win the Military Basketball Association championship. But what we have here this morning, of course, the man, there's no stranger to the First Formation fam. Always, doing what he can to push forward military basketball, as well as his own the association in which he represents. Of course, no other than Mr. Mike Meyers, Commissioner Meyers. What's going on, Commissioner? How you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Yeah, I'm doing great, man. I love the show. I love it. I appreciate what you're doing and get the word out for military basketball. And I watched the show a little bit yesterday. And sorry I was late this morning for formation. Don't counsel me.
You good, sir.
But just wrapping up some things with just NBA business and getting ready for retirement. So, but yeah, it was a great last weekend, man. You saw a little bit of the old and a little bit of the new.
Yeah. So, as I was saying, is it a changing of the guard? Is that what we're going on see that we happen to be seeing? We got like two newly minted coaches. Of course, conference, not to sip a sneeze. It's not anything to sneeze at conference. But do you see a change of? You got Timo, who did a exceptionally well job as a first year coach and with his team in the Elgin Air Force Base. So these young guns is coming out, and you think is there anything for the old guard to worry about yet, or y'all still got some years in y'all? I think
I think the old guard. So one, I would just say, hey, Jason is out and about too. He said he could come on if you
Okay.
sent him a link.
Okay.
If you sent him a link, but I'll tell you, you know, I did a post a couple of 2 days ago when they won. It's like NBA 360, which is basically, um, there's a lot of history that happened this last weekend. So, is it a changing of the guard? I don't know. I mean, I remember when I first came on the scene as a military basketball coach, and everybody was like, "Who does he think he is?" And what is it that he brings to the table? And I got a chance to prove myself. And when I went to nationals, I was humble. Try to get all the coaches to, I was just honored to be there, just happy to be there. But I didn't want to just like take names. I wanted to win, and I heard both coaches say that yesterday. They take the rankings, not just the NNBT rankings, but even the rankings that we put out. With stuff actually being done on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
They just were like, the rankings go out the window when it's time for you to play basketball, and I think Fort Riley showed that. I think the resurgence of Tinker. I mean, Tinker used to be a powerhouse, man. They were just they were just tough to beat, and you see all this happening. You see these coaches, and they're investing in these teams. I mean, what Coach Miller did. I say Alex because he used to play for me, but I say, what Coach Miller did for that team all season long. Just kind of trying to take the financial burden off of his guys. So they just had to worry about playing basketball. That's what I try to do at Fort Hood. We had sponsors and stuff like that locally at Fort Hood, and all the guys had to do was really show up and play basketball. And when you do that, you can see that the play is elevated. So that's been a goal for me to try and get that across the board. I think what the CMAC is doing, what T Morris is doing in the CMAC is pretty cool. I think Coach Red winning another WAMAC, title is Coach Red. So if he's even in the tournament, you got to worry about, he's somehow, some way he's going to be in the championship game or playing to get to it, And so, I'm excited about the status of military basketball, whether you're a fan of the NBA or not. I'm a fan of everybody, and I like what everybody's doing. And I feel like, I think we're in a great place right now, But is there a changing of the guard? I don't know. I wouldn't say a changing of the guard because, when you're a seasoned coach,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes that experience takes over, and it helps you at the end of games and in situations. I saw some
Roger
great
that.
coaching. I saw some like phenomenal coaching this weekend by Al's young team, West Texas Military Basketball's young team. But then you got to see Coach Miller make some adjustments. He was right. He got everyone's best game. If you tell me Offit's going to hit 8 threes in the first, couple minutes of a game, that just doesn't happen. When you can go to one of these tournaments and have a game of your life, and you can end up getting upset, And so he was able to make some really key adjustments. That's what I look for stuff like that.
Weather the storm,
Now,
huh?
as a commissioner, I look to see if some of these coaches are thinking on their feet or if
Mm-hmm.
they're just dumbfounded. And I say that like not to be disrespectful, but like, you get hit in the mouth. What are you going to do about it? Are you able to rally your team? Are you able to calm them down? Because it's a lot at stake. I mean, we're talking about, winning helps your program. If you
Correct.
win, you're going to get the recognition, and that's when you can go back to your community base, wherever you're getting support from, and people are more, apt to supporting, if you're winning. So, and I got told that several times,
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, man, it was a great weekend, and I'm excited. NNBT's happened. I won't be there that for that tournament, but a lot of our teams will be, and I wish them the best of luck and safe travels. And the staff at the NMBT, they've been doing it for a while. So, I look forward to them, putting on a great event. And I'm sure it'll be special, so, but you know what I do.
So,
I'm,
so of course this week, more conferences in the NBA. Well, another one, the Pac West, correct?
that's correct. Yeah. I know Jason's, that's his baby. They're back in Vegas again. This will be the third year in a row we've had a major event in Las Vegas. I mean, that's the beauty of what we do in the Military Basketball Association. The conferences are able to have, we're able to go to some really cool venues and go to some really cool cities and places where guys can just, have fun, see each other and have fun and then play basketball. So, I don't know what's going to happen out west, man. I mean, you asked me, I have no idea. There's been injuries out there. There's been, you see, Pendleton kind of resurging.
Right.
Paris is, always going to be good because he's just a competitive coach and he's got that, championship type swagger. But then you got San Diego. They've just resurged, man. I mean, they haven't been relevant since James Milt, and
Okay.
now they're back out, basically sitting number 2 in their conference. And I think they're like number 3 or 4 or something like that in the NBA. So I'm excited about where we're going. And cause I know what I'm doing and what we have planned. And it just makes sense. And got to commend Jason. He's running 3 conferences.
Mhm.
And the guy is he's just doing what he does as a conference commissioner, and he's going to be in. He and I have been making our rounds and traveling and doing the things just like all the other coaches. So,
Roger.
that.
So you say traveling. So what is it that you can tell us? In which I know you're not just making commissioners rounds to separate areas and stuff like that. What is it that you can tell us are the latest and greatest for the Military Basketball Association that you're willing to depart with at this particular time? To those
Well,
that's paying attention, I'm going to check this later.
yeah, that's I appreciate it. No. So the NBA has been recognized by MTV
Okay.
to be we're a grantee for Mental Health Awareness Month and Mental Health Action Day.
Okay.
So we're going to be doing an event in Denver, partnered with Gold Crown for a wheelchair basketball game that supports, Mental Health Action Day. Sergeant Major Campbell, retired Sergeant Major Campbell, got to make sure I say that, is going to be coming to do a panel because the NBA is not just about basketball. For us, when these guys play, it's a resiliency event, it's a resiliency activity. And so, that's the spirit behind what we're doing. So, MTV was able to, out of 255 applicants, the NBA was selected as one of 23.
Okay.
And that's a testament to not just what I do, but of what the coaches are doing. Our coaches are phenomenal. Like I said, Dave does what he does in his community. You see what Paris does with, assistant coaching with, with the high school with Coach Grace. So there's just a lot of stuff that our coaches do that doesn't get, talked about. And that was one of the reasons that I think we were selected, because all of our coaches are in our community. And then the NBA is just a beacon for people to stay resilient and have a resiliency event. So it's going to be fun. I think that's great. We're working on a few other things, that we'll release a little bit later. But the biggest thing is that the center of military basketball for Memorial Day weekend will be in Wichita, Kansas, and so there's something for everybody that weekend with a 3-point contest, dunk contest, slam dunk contest for the high school athletes. There's a recruiting element to that. There's a retention element to all the athletes that are playing. Looks like we're going to be, we may have some participation from teams in Europe. The championship ring looks amazing. It's a beauty. And the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame is absolutely going to be fantastic. And the fact that, the events that I just said, to include the championship game, are going to be on Pluto TV. I
Okay.
mean, that's phenomenal. When you say Pluto TV, that's saying, hey, um, you can go to your phone, you can go to your app device, you can go to Samsung, your little television, download the app to Pluto TV, and you're going to be able to see that on video on demand. I mean, the fact that one of our um, military basketball players, Aaron Foster, is going to be able to do a documentary on the Military Basketball Association, um, with capturing, the events from this season and what our mission and our goal is, and that's going to be available on Pluto TV on demand. I mean, that's what we all wanted. That's what we talked about. That's what we set out to do, was to put to highlight the military athlete, and that's been our mission and our goal, and that's what we're doing. And I hope that, and I'm looking to partner with anybody who wants to work with us to move that mission forward.
Okay. So in Wichita, we talked about. Oh no, let me go backtrack a little bit. So we talked about the wheelchair basketball games. Is that going to be for the only for those who are basically have who are who play in wheelchairs specifically? Or are we going to have it to where those who don't need the assistance of a wheelchair to see what it's like to actually play the game in that? How's that going to go? Just
That's a
about.
very good point. I'm talking with Coach Miller, because listen, Coach Miller is the center of gravity here in Colorado, at least
Mm-hmm.
for now. And so he's riding a high. I think if we could get him to do for the guys to come out, and one or two, maybe a couple players come out, and play wheelchair basketball with some of the guys that are doing adaptive basketball, is fine.
Adaptive
Listen,
training, yes.
yeah. So the big thing about why am I so like stuck on wheelchair basketball? The NBA commissioner, why am I doing that? Everybody can't play basketball. What we do is called able body.
Mm-hmm.
I got educated on that by Hannah Walker. She's really into wheelchair basketball. She said, what you guys do is able body, but when you get in a wheelchair, it's different. And so um, the point in all that is the game continues.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you don't have legs, or you've been disabled, or something happened to you and you can't walk, because the bottom line is we're so blessed, right? You could not have legs, right? And be able to walk with uh, the things that they do for amputees, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
you could be paralyzed and have your legs, right? And the bottom line is that whatever happens, that's a traumatic experience for you. And sometimes basketball is what saves people. I know it saved me just from playing the game. And there are other people who may have used to play and they want to play. And so this game is to highlight the fact that these types of things happen, but the game continues. Just
Mm-hmm.
because you don't have legs don't mean you don't have wheels, and you can get out there and play basketball and get the message out that life is not over for you just because you've been impacted by something traumatic, or you have some things that a disability. So but yeah, if I could get CMB out there to try to hoop, there's no problem. But we're working with a team in Denver,
Uh-huh.
and that I think we're working with the Denver Rolling Nuggets, and so it's a great organization. Obviously, I was introduced to wheelchair basketball being a part of the transition unit, so it's fun, man. I hope I know it's going to be a great event, and then afterward we'll sit down and have a discussion on how
Pushing that
sports
forward.
impacts people's mental health, and is a positive force.
And it's just a caveat on that. I took a certification with for adaptive sports with Soldiers of Sidelines, and that was one of the things in which we looked at the whole wheelchair basketball, the wheelchair lacrosse, and all those type of things where people don't realize it's a physical game, and what I'm saying it takes a lot to basically to accomplish, saying to even be successful in it is just more, it's a whole lot more. Even reference when you talk about adaptive sports, like it's like you said, able-bodied individuals as a character compared to those who have to do these things adaptively through sports. But is not for the faint of heart. So it's everything isn't just what you think it is, as far as to even the simplest things of doing push-ups. So I think that's a great push forward, way forth in highlighting that and put it in perspective. So that way it's one of those things that kind of get lost in translation, because of course, like I said, able body. And you don't take a look at when you see a person in a wheelchair and think anything other than they're disabled, and that's the wrong mentality to have.
Well, I don't have a certification like yourself, but I do have a platform,
Roger
and
that.
what I try to do is help people from my platform. So if I have a microphone, if I say something, I know that if I say something, I know what that means. I
Mm-hmm.
know that if I put on an event, I know what that means, and I'm extremely happy that Bill Hanslick and the guys at Gold Crown Foundation were able to say, "Hey, look, Mike, we've got stuff going on, but if you want to come in the morning, you guys can do this event." And I was happy to work with Mental Health Action, MTV, the folks that really put this out. It's great, man, and we're just blessed, and I just hope that what I focus on and what we're focused on because of this mental health action is actually action.
Mm.
Everybody talks about what they're doing. You can put on the best tournament. Who puts on the best tournament? But what's happening? How are we impacting the overall mission? Because if 22 people are killing themselves every day, or people are exhibiting all these harmful behaviors, then you're not, then it's just a basketball tournament and nobody cares. But if you tie what you're doing to actual action, I want to make that happen. Okay, all right, Alex. Yep. CMB wants to support wherever. Yep. I appreciate it, man. It's awesome. We've got some news folks that'll be able to come out and support it. So I mean, and that's like halfway. Alex is a Denverite, so he's he used to come all the way to practice from Denver. So that's a true commitment. So I really appreciate that, Coach.
So, interesting we talk about the mental health aspect, in which it reaches so many levels. What do you think, Commissioner Myers, in reference to what was reported as Zion Williamson in his situation, in where he was like, he's physically, which was stated by him that he was physically prepared to play, but he wasn't feeling like Zion, in which, of course, a lot of people had the backlash. We've heard mental mental health situations as far as players like DeMar DeRozan, Kevin Love, as recently Ja Morant. As a commissioner of men who play basketball, high level athletes, what do you look at when you see that? Not just from the aspect of a service member that with it's a plenty of mental health issues or mental health issues, mental health situations as well. What do you think when you hear that from these athletes that are supposed to be seen as bigger than life, to where you see
I've been through it.
Roger that?
This weekend we had we had guys go down with Achilles injuries, and CMB was, unfortunately, they had one. I think Scott had one. I was right there on the sidelines when Paris lost his guy, when Boyd went down, and I remember what Paris said to
Mm-hmm.
him. Setback for a comeback. Minor setback, major comeback. And that's one thing I kept and I put in my toolkit, and I kept that with me. We think it's easy for these guys to go out there and compete. When I tore my ACL, I had reconstructive surgery. I know a lot of people out there don't think I can hoop. I guarantee you, 37-year-old Captain Meyers was a hooper, straight up. And that was ball was life for me, even with the heart stuff that I had going on.
Uh-huh.
But when I tore my ACL, man, it was like, even after the surgery, a year afterward, I was running, doing things great. I still wore a brace.
Mm-hmm.
That's mental. Your ACL's fine. My ACL was fine, but mentally,
Mm-hmm.
I'm worried about if I cut wrong, if I do this, if I do that, And so as a coach, when I first started coaching at Riley, I put a major emphasis on injury prevention. And And because I don't want anyone to go through what I went through, and I saw that a little bit this weekend. I know the guy from Scott was injured. Man, all I could do was really console him because I know what that means, you know. But for Zion, think about it. This guy is playing above the rim. He's a phenomenal athlete, but mentally, if you're not there, what what else can you do? You know, I mean, everybody talks about Simone Biles when she like pulled out, right? Remember when she
Mm-hmm.
pulled out? I
Roger.
think about what Simone Biles is doing. If she comes down wrong mentally because she's upset or she's not there and she takes a shortcut mentally, she could be a paraplegic, quadriplegic. She could break her neck because the degree of difficulty for what she's doing is she's not just because she represents the United States, but
Mm-hmm.
she's performing for herself. She's not performing for us. And you got to take that into account. So mentally, you know, you got to be strong, you got to be tough. But I mean, if look, Zion, come back when you feel like it. When you feel like coming back, you come back. That's the bottom line. You
Mm-hmm.
don't, sports psychology, people say all this stuff, well, he's going to get a bag or he's this or he's that or whatever. Nobody's trying to hear that if he, you know, breaks his knee, leg, elbow, neck because he came down wrong. Are
Mm-hmm.
y'all going to pay his bills? Y'all going to take care of
Mm-hmm.
him? Nah, you do what you're supposed to do. You come back when you feel like it. That's just how I feel. I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's understandable. And which that's obviously that's how, in a sense, how Zion felt. Even though it was said that it wasn't that he was cleared for 5-on-5 yet, but some of those things come into play where after these injuries, people labor tend to not labor, but they take a look at things. It is more of a consciousness of where they want to make sure, okay, I'm not stopping here, or my cut isn't like this. It all comes from a place, of course. Jason, what's good with you, sir? What's going on, man?
What's good, Trey? How you doing?
I'm good, sir. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Already one conference down, another conference going. What's going on in the mind of the man between
Yes.
conferences?
So, as everybody knows, we just had the CUSMBL conference
Mm-hmm.
this past weekend in Fort Worth, and great event. All 12 teams showed up, competed hard. As Mike said, we did have a couple of on the court injuries that happened. That unfortunate, but you know we all know that's part of the game. At the end of the day, you know, CMB ended up taking home the championship.
Mm-hmm.
Beat a very feisty Fort. Came in as the number 10 seed
Mm-hmm.
and ended up championship game. So Fort Riley showed up. They upset a couple people, and yeah, they did some things. But again, props to CMB for showing up, showing strong. Uh, yeah, it was a great event all the way around. Great host. I want to give a shout out to North Crowley High School and Coach Shed and her staff for hosting us this weekend. They did a great job. The provided facilities were amazing. They provided everything that we needed. No questions, no issues. Whatever you need, we got. They said they had a concession stand going in the facility, so players and teams didn't even really have to go far to get food, in between the games and stuff. So it was just great all the way around. I'm just trying to take a breather for a day or two because tomorrow I'm back on the road, driving out to Las Vegas.
Okay.
So after driving to Fort Worth, I came back 2 days and I'm on the road to Vegas, getting ready for the Pac West tournament, which which I expect to be the same thing. We're going back to the Doolittle Center, which is where we've been the last 3 years. So very familiar facility, very similar to North Crowley. They're a very gracious host. They give us anything we want out there with their facilities, and it's just a great environment to be in. Plus, who doesn't like Vegas?
Okay. Of course.
Right.
So with that going being said, I know you're a commissioner for the most part, but is there a team that can pull off what Fort Riley did? Is it someone to look at like that in the Pac West to where they can pull a Fort Riley-esque type effort to where no one's really checking for them? It's not just It's not just a check the block for them. They come to play. Who is that team potentially in the Pac West?
Well, to me, the Pac West is a little different this year
Okay.
specifically. And I say that I think it's a little more wide open out there. I mean,
Okay.
going into the Central, you had a strong CMB team, which ended up winning it, a strong Cannon team that finished second, that just came up a little short. And
Hmm.
people were like expecting them to be there. I mean, Luke has had a great season so far. You know, they're the number one seed coming into the Pac West tournament. They held the number one seed for the NBA up until the last week, where they took a couple of tough losses to San Diego, which
Hmm.
would bump them down. But I mean, I would say obviously they're the favorite.
Hmm.
I mean, there's a couple of dark horses, I would think, and it depends on how these teams travel and who they show up with.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'll take it for an example. Fort Irwin.
Hmm.
Okay. If Fort Irwin shows up with all their basketball players and they're able to get off the rotation details and that kind of stuff and travel to Vegas fully loaded, I think they're one of the teams. They're like a dark horse pick for me.
Okay.
Um, Not necessarily a dark horse, but another team that's shown strength this year coming back after a 2-year hiatus is San Diego. San Diego's one of them teams. They just showed at home. I mean, they played at home, but they upset Luke. They beat Luke the last 2 games they played them at home.
Hmm.
So they're another one. I'd say they're more towards a favorite than a dark horse. Nellis, they're at home. I mean, I hate to say, but home gives you a home court advantage. You're sleeping in your own bed, and I would expect them to show up fully loaded with their entire roster. They're always a tough team when they're playing there. My outside pick kind of this year, and it's not that they're a dark horse, but not they haven't had such a great season. They kind of turned it on a little late. Is Camp Pendleton? Camp
Okay.
Pendleton finished 8-6, so it isn't the typical record that we're used to seeing from Camp Pendleton. But the Marines with Coach Anderson out there, they always play tough. They're never out of a game. And again, as long as he's able to come with his guys, I think they can make a move. I think it's really wide open. I think it would not surprise me if any one of those teams, Davis Monson. Davis
Okay.
Monson's another team that has a new coach out there and with Dale Miller, and he's kind of changed he's changed the product, he's changed the environment, he's changed the culture out there at Davis Monson, and they're actually developing into a program as opposed to a team. you
Okay.
know. So any one of those teams, I mean, I just think it's wide open. Again, people had kind of an idea in the Central of who was going to be there at the end. Fort Riley kind of, upset that apple cart a little bit, but the West to me is wide open.
Okay, and so it's funny that you say that. Like I've always sit and thought about and wondered. Like now in these days, I sit up and take a look at a lot of things. Of course, in which one of these things lately I've been looking at is home court advantage, for the most part. Of course, you just say Nellis is playing home court advantage in that case. Where you say it's probably saying people have nothing to worry about. They wake up in their own bed. 2 yards into my ass. Does home court advantage really make a difference in your opinion? Does it really
It
do?
does. It does. I mean, so here's the way I look at it. Home court advantage works to a certain degree,
Mm-hmm.
but those travel teams also have that opportunity to bond. You're on the road together, you're staying in the same facilities, whether it's an Airbnb, whether it's a hotel. So that kind of, I guess, bonds the team together. But I still think home court advantage plays tough. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, regardless what you say at the end of the day, that team is still has better perks. Now, does that mean they're going to win all the time? History shows us no, because Nellis has not won the Pac West since we've been there in Vegas the last 3 years. So, I mean, yeah, yes and no. I mean, that's the way I kind of feel about it.
Okay, Commissioner Myers.
I don't think home court advantage matters in any of these tournaments, and that's just my personal opinion. I think what matters is your organization as a program. If you can get beat at home, you can get beat on the road. Um, what happens is, the biggest thing you hear people say in military basketball is, do they travel well? You hear
Bingo.
that all the time. Okay, do they travel well? So you can be at home and still only have 8 players. Okay.
Yep.
And that's a terrible thing, because you should have as many folks as you can. But for whatever reason, it's not about that. Home court advantage matters when you have, I would say, at like the all armed forces level.
Mm-hmm.
that's when I think home court advantage matters. Because when we had the Armed Forces tournament with the ladies in Jacksonville, man, I ain't never seen so many Navy people come in the gym. And what was crazy was that the men had just won, so they wanted the ladies to kind of sweep the Army. And man, we was up 23.
The hostile
And
environment.
all of a sudden, that environment changed. People were stomping on bleachers. We start turning the ball over. Next thing you know, we only up 7. And we talking about the gold medal game. So, you can feed off that energy. I think Paris and I were talking about that too. I'm putting a lot of emphasis, and I think Jason is too. We're all putting an emphasis on these championship games because, having that crowd, that's when it matters. The lights are on at that point. What you gonna do?
Yep.
You get to see people's coaching style. You get to see, how do you settle a team down? Are people playing for the lights? Or are they playing to win? Or both. Because some people love it when the lights come on. So if you ask me at these tournaments, hell, man, we used to drive 12 hours to like Dias and get out the van, stretch, and smack teams. That's just, as a coach, that's what we used to do. That's what we used to do, Jay. I'm sorry.
No, you're right. But I would say this, Trey, if all things are equal, meaning all teams are showing up loaded with all their players, right, I think home court plays into the mix. But Mike hit the nail on the head. Military basketball, we know that's not going to happen. So like Mike said, it's who travels the best. If you're able to travel with all your players or majority of your players and show up, you can show up and show out. I think the travel plays bigger than the home court advantage. But if all things are equal, I think home court advantage gives a little notch, especially at Nellis, because they do bring out a little bit of a raucous crowd from the Air Force Base over to Doolittle.
Okay. Time out. I said that, so I was speaking on Texas, right? In Vegas, that is Nellis country. Okay.
Yes.
Straight up. I got a chance to see that. I said, when Wounded Warrior Project was out there, last year, I think it was Vaughn and I think it was a couple other guys. It's like, where all these people come from? And I was like, they were like, this Nellis crowd.
Yeah, they just show up out of nowhere.
They show up like they just be like, I'm like, they just come out of nowhere. You have like 200 people in the gym cheering Nellis on, and then they feed off that energy. So at the Doolittle, I would say, that's gonna be interesting. But on average, you really don't see that. I mean, I've been beaten at home at Fort Hood before, and it sucks. Lackland came up. We beat them twice won the first 2 games on Saturday. It was like, we getting out of here with a win. And they did. And there wasn't a damn thing I could do about it. And so it didn't matter who came out. The 3-court sergeant major was there at the game. Took an L.
To watch that. But yeah, Trey, to your point there, it's definitely travel. Mike hit the nail on the head. If you travel good, that plays an advantage too.
So, in your opinion, with that, speaking on the mental aspect of that, is there anything mentally to do to prepare for that, or even to thwart that for the most part? Or that's a battle within itself, wouldn't you say?
To prepare for what? For home court advantage?
As the visiting team, and like you said, once it becomes definite.
Absolutely. I used to do some really crazy. I used to play loud music for some of my teams. I used to, as a coach, I did all kinds of stuff. But the biggest thing that coaches can do to prepare for this is scenario based, drills. 1 minute, 2 minute drills. There's hundreds of scenarios that you could be in: up by 7, down by 5, up by 3, down by 2, down by 1. And you put your teams through those scenarios so that they become used to it. But at the end of the day, the guys on the floor are going to determine what happens in the game. Your impact as a coach it stops at that sideline. And so you just got to trust that they're going to go out there and execute whatever game plan that they do. And that's the only thing really that you can do to prepare for a crowd. And even still, I mean, if you have 400 people screaming at you, you know,
I love it.
just 400, right? I mean, that tournament in Jacksonville was so crazy. I don't know how those women did that, but I saw Ray, just basketball players, they go to the line, it's a hostile crowd. How are you going to make those 2 free throws?
Mm-hmm.
Everything is like, just nervous. So it's I don't know. I like the environment, but at the same time,
It does do something to you. It does do something to you.
You just got to prep, man. And if you're not ready, then maybe you shouldn't be playing at that level.
Yeah, so I've been in one situation where it was like that, is coaching and sitting on the bench, and it was like, oh my goodness, it was deafening, and it was one of those situations where it wasn't like the where the chairs is like right next to the court, and the only thing that helped is we had it was, I guess, one of our players, he answered the tone of the bell, knocking down 3-pointers, and that's how we hushed the crowd, but it was a dog fight.
So I love that moment, right?
Okay.
That's the moment.
You live for that moment.
When I was as a player, I wanted to take the last shot. I wanted to, it doesn't matter if it was pickup, game, whatever. I like that moment, right? But some people are, they defer, or they can't, handle that type of pressure. I don't get nervous as a coach in those moments. I just don't,
So Mike,
you got to make the right decision.
I'll say this, Trey, to answer what you were saying, and I'm gonna put my coaching hat on here for a minute. What I used to do, is if we were in an environment like that, as with a hostile crowd, or everyone's cheering against us or whatever, I would use that to our advantage. We'd be in the huddle, and I'd tell our team, I'd tell the guys here at Fort Riley, whatever, I'd be like, look, y'all hear that? They want to see you lose. They don't think you're good enough. Use that, spin that crowd to get them to bond together better as a team. They want to see y'all just fall apart. They feel they out there being all ruckus and everything. They talking trash from the stands because they don't think y'all got it. What are y'all going to do about it? So that's the kind of stuff that we would do.
As the home court coach, if I had you on the ropes, right, we're up 10, I go back in the huddle and I tell everybody in the huddle, it's 0-0.
Mm-hmm.
Go win these next 5 minutes. Now we're up 20, right? The crowd's on our side. Everything is going the right way. I would even, run plays and stuff to try to get people energized. I mean, the bottom line is you can feed off a crowd, or a crowd can hurt you. And, it's just one of those things where you just gotta, it's a part of the game. In Wichita, at Coke Arena, there's going to be a crowd. Okay. So, when you're going to be playing on television. So, what does that mean? If you're, whoever's live streaming this or doing whatever, you're going to be playing on television.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get scared? And I will tell you this, that was the greatest game. One of the top 5 games I've ever seen was when Fort Hood played Fort Sill at Coke Arena. That was, I think Kenork had 27 at the half. Ella Ellis had like 25.
Oh, so
we're talking the Central. Like this was the Central.
The Central's tournament.
Yep. This wasn't Nationals. This was the NBA Finals. We had just started the NBA after that conference tournament.
Okay.
Yep.
We're talking Daniel Kenork had 27 at the half, and Ella Ellis had like 25. I think Simp played in that game too.
Yep.
I mean, that was probably the best basketball I've ever seen.
Mike, that was actually the best Final 4 games, because if you remember, that was the double overtime game that Riley beat. That Riley beat Carson when Bobby Ingram hits that 3 from the corner to put. That was when Ace was still coaching there at Carson, and then Riley had to turn around and play Fort Sill in the other game because we were still doing double elimination then. So we turn around in the other game and loses the Sill. on a close game because they were just beat tired, and then still turns around and plays Hood in that championship game.
But
that was like the best 4 games.
It was, but we're talking. So we're looking at a Fort Hood team that's got, Daniel Kennard, Hendo, Rodney Clinkscales, right? Yep. They still had all the major pieces, right, from the year that I played, right, or I coached them, and then you got Fort Sill that had a monster squad.
Yeah,
just like, I mean, you're talking prime. We're talking Boston Celtics. What is it? D-League.
The D-League Red Claws, the Boston Red Claws.
You're talking Ella Ellis. They had Kincaid. They just had a squad. And when you talk about basketball, I think both teams were shooting over 60 or 70% mid-range. I mean, this is a conference championship game,
in which everyone's dialed in like it's a championship.
Oh man,
oh yeah,
it was phenomenal, and it was one of the best games I'd ever seen because you had big time Army guys playing ball, like just hooping.
So Trey, you got to remember this was the first year that we were in Coke.
It was the first year y'all were in Coke
Arena. The first year that we had the actual live streaming outside of Facebook Live where we had UClick TV come in. Okay. So you got cameras, you got 5-6 cameras all around, just like you're playing in a Division I college game on a Division I college floor in a 10,000 plus seat arena. Now, the arena wasn't filled like that. We had a couple hundred people, but still that environment, every ball player knows you walk into an environment like that, even empty. Mm-hmm. It is different. It hits you different if you're not used to that. If you're used to playing in the military style gyms. Second year. That's right. It was the second year we were there. But still, you're on that floor in an arena. The backdrop to the backboard looks different. The floor looks a little bigger because you got that much more space. You're not playing where you hit a layup and you're hitting the wall right behind it. I mean, the basket stanchions, the big screen on top, all that stuff, believe it or not, makes a difference if you're not used to that environment.
I mean, you want to know the score and you look up.
Yeah, right. Or you got 3 shot clocks. You got the one in front of you and the one on each side.
Al won the second year. Fort Hood won the first year. The year after I coached, Fort Hood won that first year. Yep. Because they played Seal in the championship, and then the following year, Al won
Fort Sam. Fort Sam came. Yeah, that's the year that Fort Sam came all the way back. Fort Sam came all the way back and lost to Fort Blitz in the championship.
But that first year that you did it, I remember because I drove up from Killeen to commentate the game. I was a analyst, a CUSMVL analyst.
That's right. That's where we started all this.
Yeah. So and it was great, man. It was great, and I think we're getting ready to get back to that. I'm telling you right now, we're getting ready to get back to that. You saw what Jason did this weekend. Just a great tournament. Hats off to Coach Snow. Dre, Fort Worth's team, they did awesome. And shoot, Fort Worth had a crowd that came out.
Okay.
Fort Worth's crowd came out. So, I mean, you just gotta. I think the actual status of military basketball, at least from my foxhole, I want to give this to the world. We want to give it to the people. People need to see that people serve. And they play basketball, and then they be right back in formation at first formation on Monday, right? They're right back, serving their country and doing great things, but they're athletes. And so, what Jason did that first year, man, Jason put it on steroids, and I don't know. All I did was try to take it and well, y'all see what I try to do with it, but yeah.
So Trey, I'll say this to you: if you think about this. Last week, this week, the week after, and then a little break. Think of military basketball. So last weekend that just went by, you had the WAMAC tournament and the season tournament. You had the CMAC and the season tournament.
Correct.
You had the CUSMBL end of season tournament.
Correct.
Okay, all three going on at the same time, right? This week, the spotlight turns to the West Coast, to the Pac West. Okay, Pac West gets their tournament this weekend. Then after that, you got the tournament in San Antonio, right? Then you get a break, and then everybody comes to Wichita for the end of seasons, and then because that's the only thing going on at that time. And you got our tournament, the NBA tournament, right? And then you break for a while, and then you got what's going on in Orlando in June,
correct,
or July, whatever that is. So I mean, you just got this 4 weeks, 3 weeks right here is like it's conference week and NCAA tournament starting. This is our version of that.
Correct. Okay.
Then in September, you got the All-Star game, like an All-Star game, and that is going to be a phenomenal event. We're right back in OKC. Coaches Summit is right back in OKC. We already have the conference room reserved with the Oklahoma City Thunder. It's phenomenal, man. I mean, again, we're doing what we do because it's fun. Man, it's just fun. I ain't gonna lie to you, it's fun.
So I ask this question, right? Playing in college, is there any particular team in the NBA that can kind of almost claim like that home court feel playing in Wichita? Like who would that be that has
Riley? Fort Riley. People are gonna make the trip to Fort
They are gonna make the hour-and-a-half trip from Fort Riley down to Wichita. Okay, and especially seeing what again. So Trey, I talked earlier. They were right. Now you got some momentum. You with a 10 seed coming into the conference tournament. You make it to the championship game. They went 4-1. The only loss was in the championship game to CMB. Now you bring that back to Riley, right, where everyone had a chance to see it and say, "Oh, y'all playing down at Wichita?"
Riley and Tinker
on a 4-day weekend. Yeah.
Riley and Tinker.
Riley's the closest, then Tinker.
Then Tinker. They're going to have a crowd there. I mean, Tinker folks, OKC folks are going to come up for that. But Riley, shoot, that's just down 77. I already know the route. I already know the route. They gonna make that trip. They're gonna make that trip.
Like you said, traveling well. Yeah,
it's gonna be interesting. You gonna have a couple different fan bases. I think, like you said, Fort Riley's definitely one fan base. Tinker's another. I mean, Fort Worth is really not that far. It's 3.5 hours from Oklahoma City, so about 4.5, 5, whatever to Wichita. It's Dias. I mean, anybody can really make the trip to Wichita and come show their team, support their teams. It wouldn't surprise me if you got these little pockets of fans all weekend.
And that's
it's going to be interesting.
I really do think Riley's going to have an advantage though, because they're literally and when we played, I mean, when I was playing with Pratt and his folks, we had a little following that would go with us, that would travel with us and stuff. So you got to think this is going to be the biggest military basketball event like ever. And so, yeah, Riley's going to be there. I'm just telling you, I know what I know, and Jason knows what he knows, and I'm telling you, this is going to be his biggest, pretty big event.
So right now, of course, all the tournaments have to be finished out. From an aspect, if you take off the commissioners' hats and everything like that, who is right now would be the favorite for the NBA championship?
I got to go out west. Mike. I got to go out. No, I have to go out west. Okay. I got to see what I see out west. Obviously, there's a couple of teams that are really, really strong, right? And that, if they travel well, they're going to be all right. I gotta be careful because I don't want people thinking I'm CMB is number one.
Okay.
But I gotta see what's happening out west before I can say, okay, CMB's favored to win.
Okay.
And because Paris got a team. Dave's got a team. And now let's say this. Jason can say this. CMB is the first team in a long time to come into a conference tournament number 1 and win it. It's everybody. There's not too many teams that go into the conference tournament and close it out and finish at number 1. Paris is another one. Paris has gone into the Western Conference Finals and won it twice back to back. So can they do that? I'll know after this weekend. So, but if you give me, I'll give you 4 teams to look out for.
Okay.
Obviously, CMB.
Okay.
Luke. San Diego. Right.
Let's talk about them. Emergence.
And Fort Benning.
Okay.
Fort Benning. I'm gonna say I say Fort Benning because Fort Benning is playing like everybody else is like really not playing. Fort Benning is playing basketball.
Yes, against high top. Yeah.
Very, very low key. Fort Benning is priming themselves for a championship run, and so they're going to go down the Nationals pure because they're playing for the big Kahuna. They're playing for the NBA title. So I don't know. So those are the 4 teams that I would say I would watch out for. My sleeper team, is in Manhattan, Kansas, in Junction City. I'm gonna say Fort Riley.
Fort Riley is
they got some snipers. They got shooters. You gotta cover them as soon as they hit the parking lot.
Hey, I'm gonna say this about that. What Mike just said. I had phone calls on the way back on Sunday talking about how was Fort Riley 4-8 in the regular season, and it goes back to what Mike said. It all depends on how you travel, right? It all depends on how you travel. But yeah, they in this tournament they showed a different brand of basketball to other people. What Alex say?
Alex knows I got to be politically correct, man. I got to be politically correct. I can't come on here and sing CMB accolades.
Alex was flashing yesterday. He is like,
but I would tell you this. I am extremely impressed with Simpson's game. If there's anybody who has come back and just really worked on their craft. Put the mid-range fadeaway jumper down, get that, just you can tell, even after the stuff that we worked on, that he's actually taken it to another level. And so I credit, I want to give credit to him for that, because he's put something in his basketball repertoire that when Alex needs a basket, and I saw that this weekend when coach needs a basket or the team is around, they got Mike and they got Simp. And when you can do that in the half court, and then you can also play an up-tempo type basketball game, that's hard. It's very hard because you can't double Simp now, because if you do, what you've seen is he's making the right pass. He's making the passes out of the doubles. And so it's tough, man. They're a tough team. I'm not gonna lie to you. They're a tough team. And if Alex was playing basketball right now, that would be tough. Because Alex, what people don't know is that Coach Miller can give you a 30-piece right now, today. Like right now, he could give you a 30-piece right now. I've seen him do it. So and not against Y League. I've seen him do that in, against stiff competition, military competition. So if he was playing, then I would say they're the favorite. They're not playing. So I think I gotta see. Me personally as a commissioner, I have to see what's happening out west. Now, Jason probably, I don't know. I would love to hear Jason's take.
Well, I'll tell you this. If we're talking today, before the Pac West tournament starts, based off of just how they finished in the regular season, and I only say this because Luke kind of was trending down in the last week of the regular season with those 2 losses to San Diego.
You're giving Paris whiteboard material.
Hey, I'm spitting facts. It isn't my fault. They took
Get 'em,
those two
P.
L's in San Diego, and San Diego would probably say, well, hey, we beat them twice. So whatever, but it is what it is. But if you ask me today, before we go into the Pac West tournament, I would have to give the nod to CMB based off of how they played this last weekend as my favorite. Now, like Mike said, you have a team out on the East Coast that hasn't played in a while, military basketball, but they've been keeping themselves busy with other games with Fort Benning. So obviously they're lurking in the shadows and they don't want to get forgot about because, they're going to come in tough as well, like Mike said. So I put them up there in the, top 3, top 4. Not to say that Luke isn't a favorite. If I had a 1 and a 1A right now, though, it would probably be CMB and Luke. But I'm sure Cam Pendleton has something to say about that. Nellis has something to say about that. San Diego, Davis Monson, they're all gunning for Luke this weekend. So, and hold on, Mike, I'm just going to say.
I got you. Go ahead.
This is Paris's, in my opinion, this is his toughest year as a coach. Okay. Ali PCS in the Maxwell, that I'm not going to say hurt them tremendously, but anytime you take Ali Bradley off your team, that's a loss. So he had to find other players to step up and fill that gap. Then you have some injuries. Then you have some players that might not be able to make it due to military commitment. So it's going to be interesting to see what Paris comes in. But anytime Paris Daniels on that sideline, your team has a strong chance. Okay. Fort Sam, I'm not going to, to be honest with you, they impressed me this weekend as well. They ran into a hot shooting Fort Riley team in that quarterfinal game. And like Mike was talking about earlier, them guys you got to guard as they come in the parking lot. They were I think they were shooting like 60, 70% from the 3-point line in that Fort Sam game, but Sam hung tough and it was a back and forth game. I think the final score in that game was like 98-90 or something like that. So
I would just tell you this: of all the coaches that we've mentioned, only one of them has hoisted the NBA trophy up, and that's Paris. So,
yeah, experience.
So at the end of the day, when people were like, oh, CMB this, especially when we were losing, right? But I know, on the sidelines, experience matters. And it can win you games. It can help you. So I would just say the only reason I want to see what's going on out west is because, if Paris has a way to get that those guys going and rally,
481.
Then it could be really, really interesting. But yeah, I mean, everybody has to say CMB has the nod. They were even missing one of their best players this weekend. So
today.
Yeah.
I say today. And then Bishop shows up today, because again, after this weekend, Trey, that might change. We don't know. I mean, you could get a team that comes out of nowhere out there and then they get the nod. But go ahead.
So what was the reason for the downtrodden fall? Was it because Ali was gone? What was the reason that
No. I don't
just better.
No. Well, I mean, honestly, every week to week, military basketball changes, as we know. Paris might not have traveled as well that weekend going from Arizona to California. I mean, Ali's been gone the whole year, so I'm not going to say it's that, but that was a replacement he had to make coming into this season. Darian Donald, I think, was a little nicked up as well with a finger injury or something. So, I mean, there's so many variables week to week for military basketball. I'm not going to go out and say, oh, well, San Diego was just better. I mean, they were better that weekend. That's it. But that doesn't mean that better overall in the grand scheme of things.
Got you.
Hey, you know what? And Wooten just put something in there. Campbell's another team that you cannot sleep on them. But I will say this. CMB did hoop this weekend. I mean, that without a doubt, they hooped. And when I say hoop, I'm saying they took a lot of punches, big shots from Scott. They took Riley and them were basically neck and neck for a while until CMB was able to kind of break away,
stretch it out. Yep, and the third. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's just what happens is military basketball changes from week to week. You never know who's going to show up with what in the tournament. You could show up as the number 1 seed in the tournament and not have any of your heavy hitters and get upset. You know, but it's not really an upset. You just didn't have everybody, and you had a title of number 1 seed, but you're really not the number 1 team in that tournament. So, you know, I think what you are seeing though is a new breed of coaches that are putting emphasis on program, not team,
building program,
not team, not event. They're building programs. They're saying, hey, you know what? I don't want to just be good for this tournament. I want to be good all year. And I think that's what you see Coach Miller doing. I think that's what, you know, the guys at Eglin are doing. Coach Johnson down at Fort Sam, I think he's doing a great job. We had a chance to speak. So Tinker's resurged. So, you know, was that Boomer Sooner? I ain't gonna do you like that. I like I do think that the status of military basketball, you're seeing coaches put emphasis on building a program and not just a team. That's just me.
So real quick, Trey, I'm gonna say this to caveat Mike right there. I've said this a couple times. I said it this weekend too. And it's just what Mike said right there is there's a difference between a team and a program. And if you don't know the difference, you're probably a team. You know, and I said that to several coaches this weekend. And one guy actually said, man, I'm going to steal that. I'm going to use that. I said, go right ahead. But if you think about it, that's it. There's a difference between a team and a program. And if you don't know the difference, you're a team.
You're a team. Yep. That makes sense.
It's that simple. It's that simple. That's simple.
I was when I turned the Fort Hood team over to Coach Q, and I say this because we were celebrating our, you know, nationals. We had won the second national championship. Turned it over to Q, and Q was like, you know, I'm going to take this team. You know, we're going to make this a better team, and he did. But I told him, I said, you know, and he was asking me what's next, you know. And for me, it was just like, you know, I just said, you know, I don't build teams. I do not set out to build a team. Even the NBA is a program. We set out to build a program. And if you take on that type of mentality and that aspect in your military community, at your installation, whatever, if you look at it and approach it as, okay, this is a program. This is something that, you know, will carry on beyond me. It'll last beyond, you know, Mike Meyers or Jason LaFasciano or Coach Ace, or, I mean, even look at Fort Bliss. I mean, at West Texas Military, they still have remnants of what Coach Mayon did so many years ago. You know, and that's because, you know, he's been in that community. So it's just, I would rather be a part of a program than win for a team. That's just me.
Okay. So, well, like we discussed a little bit earlier, we know that the National Military Basketball Tournament is coming up. With all the conversation which you're talking, with CMB has been at the front of a lot of it. Is CMB potentially a team that can challenge all the ones independents? We know Phantom Warrior is currently the defending champion. CMB has enough to challenge these teams. That could potentially be a NBA potential champion that can challenge and walk away with the National Military Basketball Tournament championship. In you guys' opinions? So, according to the rules, they know what they know, and whatever CMB comes down there with, apparently. If everyone's coming to NMBT with their, you know, their weapons and their guns, you know, they got a plane ticket and a boarding pass, then, you know, no issues. You know, I mean, that's the way that tournament is you can have free agents or whatever. So the bottom line is that you know, people are going to come with, you know what you're getting into when you go into that tournament. So I think they can do it. I think they have the weapons to do it. See, there's a problem when you pick up a whole bunch of different people
and you decide to come in and play.
Chemistry.
Both of them talked about it
yeah.
yesterday. Yeah.
So, they did that in 15 and 16 and it didn't work for them. I had a program and I didn't care who was on the team, right? So that's when, I know everybody talks about the whole 17 and they got everybody came out and that's what formed the NBA. No, what happened was Fort Hood won it twice. And so, and they won it pure. Mm-hmm. And everybody was from that installation because I couldn't have anybody. So that's when it was like, oh man, when I seen Ron, Derek Sumter, Ollie, when you see all them dudes, I'm like, man, I wasn't coaching. I'm not coaching. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. And it was that didn't happen like in 15. I mean, people were doing it in 15 and 16, right. But it wasn't like that.
They do it like that.
It wasn't. No, look, they if they had to put all Armed Forces Team USA, if they had to just put that jersey on, they would have been perfectly fine. It would have been perfectly fine. But everybody's like, well, that was a catalyst, and it wasn't. What happened was 15 and 16, Hood came together and they won it twice. And so,
you think that was the spark, Mike? That was the spark that told everybody to get together and come beat y'all?
Listen, I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is,
but it sounds like you are to me.
All I'm saying is,
subliminally, it sounds like
yeah.
No, because here's the knock that everybody had. People don't know that I had like 5 players that year traveling with me, right? And so, with these rosters for nationals, it's going to be some great games. Yeah, that's the bottom line. It's not about the past. It's about what you're doing right now. And the way Mike has positioned himself to kind of regulate some of that stuff, it's commendable. I mean, I really admire it. I think that you have 2 free agents and you're coming from your team. He's taken some hard stances on things, and I never thought that he would. And so I was wrong on a couple of fronts, and I said that publicly. And I think it's going to be great. But it's still, you still got a couple of you still can have you can still have free agents. You can still have people who don't have a team to come and play for you.
So Mike, let me throw my 2 cents in on this real quick. Everybody knows Mike takes the more PC route on a lot of things.
I'm a politically correct, and I have to be, and I have to be, Jason.
Right, and I'm more of that straightforward, blunt kind of person. So to answer your question, Trey, about nationals, I'm gonna just say it like this: it's wide open. And my reasoning for saying that is this:
anybody can get hot. Yeah,
you don't know what a team is coming with. You could say, well, this team was like this in the regular season, but you don't know who their 2 free agents are going to be. Correct. Because if you pick up an Ollie Bradley and a Derek Sumter, for instance, and I know, whatever, that changes the dynamic of a team completely. Or let's bring it a little more current. If you have a Ray Colton and Colton Ray and a Ray Robinson on your team, that changes your dynamic of your team completely. So in my opinion, yes, Fort Hood's coming in as the number 1 team ranked, but because I don't know, because I'm not on the inside. I don't know if the rosters are out there somewhere to be seen or not, or if everyone's just going to see everybody when they get there. But you can have a team like, and I know they're not in it, but like a Dias. By record in the Central, they necessarily weren't the best of teams this year. But if you add 2 of those dynamic players as free agents to their roster, that could, a 30-piece and a 30-piece, that changes the game completely. So I think Nationals is wide open. And I don't think until they get on the floor and start playing the games is who we're going to be able to kind of see who separates from who.
Yeah. So I'm just going to say this because the Nationals guys came on. They were like, Mike Meyers Jr. and all that stuff. So I'm gonna be, that's their tournament. Okay, that's their tournament.
Oh yeah.
However they want to run it, that's what they do. And I'm gonna be completely real with you on that. That's what they do. I support it because it's military basketball, but it's not the NBA. It's not what we do. And, it's just, to be completely real, you run into guys are always talking and saying all these different things, and it is wide open. because you don't never know. You just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You have no idea,
who's
going to be playing where and what's going to happen and all that stuff. And, is it a showcase? Is it a national tournament? What is it? I don't know. And that's not my place to say. It's just that's their tournament. And so what I do is if our teams are playing in it, I support them. I want to make sure that they get down there and they're safe and everything. But, nationals is a part of military basketball, right? I wish people would say the NBA is a part of military basketball, just to be completely real. Because I'm thinking about like a show that you had on before, right? The NBA has changed what we've been doing. It's provided a showcase and a platform for everybody. Okay, it's not just about who you know and all that stuff. This is a platform for installations to play basketball, and that's where you can get noticed. It's not some secret society or anything like that. It's just, hey, look. If you want to play military basketball, you can play in the NBA. You can call Jason. You can be a part of a conference, and you can play. And that's what we're about. And I hope that doesn't get lost, because when you start talking about stacking teams and building teams or whatever, that kind of changes the conversation. But I commend Mike because what he's done is he said, hey, you know what? We're going to put a limit to some of this stuff, and he's sticking to his MOI, and I commend that. I just want to make sure that we are very clear. What they do and what we do is very different. You can see Jason this weekend. Jason had the orders out, checking ID cards, doing what he does. Check in as it's an actual timed event with what we do. They're going to do it in Wichita. They're going to check orders. They're going to check ID cards because it's important. And unfortunately, there are some people that have actually played that weren't even in the service. And so, not just at my tournaments. Okay. So I want to make sure that doesn't happen. And we owe that to everybody who serves. So, I just want to make sure we put that out, and I commend them because it's coming up in a couple of weeks and I support it, but it's different from what we do.
So Trey, I'll tell you this: the orders and the ID card, checking that and everything. You and we think about going back to reporting for pay, and I know that's lost on a lot of these younger guys.
That's a lot.
When we actually had when we had to step up and report for pay. That is what pretty much how we do with our orders and ID card checking is. Coach comes up with the orders, lines his team up. ID card, match the orders, boom, 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 check off the roster, and we go. But that's exactly, I think Mike had a couple pictures from this weekend, but that's exactly what we do. That's just the checks and balances that we do to make sure everybody's on the up and up.
And Wooten's point is a great point, and that's what that tournament's for, and I respect it. Not everybody can kind of play pure. Some installations don't even have a team. They just have great ball players there. So nationals is a platform. The NBA is a platform. That one I will not answer that question.
What do you say?
But no. So I will put it this way. Life is good here in Colorado Springs. I love everybody.
You talking about Alex? You talking about Alex's question?
Yeah, I love everybody. I support those guys in San Antonio. And I hope that's a great tournament. I know it will be. A lot of our teams are going there, and I think this is probably one of the best years of military basketball we've ever had.
Okay, but it's built upon, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, so I asked this question, Coach. I know Commissioner Meyers. You're an unbiased individual. Lakers in 4.
Lakers in 4, of
Yes.
course, of course. Now I don't know how much my Golden State.
Hold on. Wait a minute.
I don't know how they're doing.
Wait. Are we talking first round?
Yes, the first.
We're talking first round.
First round.
We're not talking Western Conference Finals.
Oh, no,
we're not talking NBA Finals. We're talking first round.
The Lakers are going to the Western Conference. The Lakers are going to the Western Conference Finals.
Mike, you want dinner on that?
Ooh, yes.
Jay, Jay,
Get him,
Jay.
Jay.
You want
Get him,
you want
Jay.
dinner?
Get him,
We can have
Jay.
dinner in Wichita.
Jason, we
Hey,
already lost a bet
Get him,
on Mike
Jay.
Richardson.
that's okay. That's all right.
Let's go.
I'm
Get him,
willing to
Jay.
double down. Hey, we
So
can pay that bet off in Wichita. Okay. The Lakers are not, in my opinion, going to the Western Conference Finals. Okay, we can bet dinner on that right now.
Let's go.
Let's go.
So Trey, can I come back on the show when the Lake on game one?
Yeah,
When
you
the Lakers are in
can.
the Western Conference Finals, can I be back
And
on
if
the
they
show?
there, and if they there,
you
right, I will say, if they there, I will say that I was wrong. But I'm gonna tell you right now, I do not see the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. I'm not a fan nor a not fan of the Lakers, but basketball wise, there's too many strong teams in the West. That's my opinion. Okay, so we can settle this bet in Wichita.
I'm just telling you right now. So we'll be in Wichita right around when the Western
Right around
Conference
that
Finals
time, yes, sir.
And Trey, you can go. I'll be like, we are live from downtown Wichita,
wherever it is y'all you having dinner at.
and
Yes, sir.
And Jason is about to pay for my.
That's cool.
So the whole thing, are you?
He's about to. Jason, look,
cutting into everything like
Jason gonna do like this. Look, USAA.
That's cool. That's cool. Hey, he's with it now. Let's see if that same USAA card comes out when the Western Conference Finals comes.
Go live, and when the Lakers are in the Western
Make sure you use the gold. Make sure you use the gold card, not the NBA card.
In the elimination game for the Lakers to go to the Western Conference Finals. All I'm gonna
so you're saying it's going 7?
No.
Oh.
I'm saying the Lakers are going to the Western.
For your sake,
the Lakers are going to the Western Conference Finals because
for your sake, I hope they make it out of the first round. For your sake. It's gonna be a dark day if they don't. I'm just saying.
The Lakers are going to the Western Conference Finals.
Okay.
Okay.
So I just want to make sure we have it so we can go back and look at this. We do have a bet, right?
That'll like be settled. The Chiefs won the Super Bowl.
They did. They did. You're right. So we go. Hey. So we got a bet, right? If the Lakers don't make the Western Conference Finals, then you buying me dinner in Wichita. If they do, I'm buying you dinner.
There you go. But we're gonna come on the show. We're gonna come on the show
and
we're gonna settle
that's
it.
fine. I'm a big enough man to say it.
So interesting enough, if y'all been checking, if y'all seen social media, there's another similar bet that's out there like that. We already know this week Javonte Davis is going to fight Ryan Garcia, in which both of them have their purse on the line. Win or lose, Ryan Garcia, tank Javonte Davis, winner takes all. Does Ryan Garcia have a chance?
That's tough.
That's
a lot. That's a lot of money to go all or nothing.
And they put it in contract.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. It's all or nothing. I mean, shoot. Good luck.
Would y'all take that bet? Would you be confident?
Hell no. Hell no. If I'm going to get my face beat in, I'm going to at least walk away with a couple million. I mean, look at Michael Spinks and Mike Tyson. That lasted 36 seconds, but Mike Spinks got paid for that beating. Tyson put him through the ropes, but he made about whatever the hell it was. It was millions. You got to pay me to get beat up. I ain't wasting all that. Hell no.
Bishop, you not taking that bet either? Or are you walking away? You hear me, Bishop?
He can't hear you.
What'd you say? What'd you say, Trey?
You're not taking that bet?
I'm not taking that bet.
No one's taking that bet.
What's the bet?
Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis this weekend. You know they're fighting. They put it on the line. Whoever loses walks away with gives up their purse to the winner.
Ooh.
That's the ultimate confidence in your game.
Who initiated that? Was it Garcia or was it Tank?
Tank. It was Tank.
Ooh.
Tank got him on live. It was like, hey, what's good? You know what I'm saying? Whoever win, walk away. And Garcia's like, let's do it. Put it in the contract.
Put it in the contract.
Ooh, that's gonna be a.
Hey,
That's gonna be a.
where is that fight?
Oh,
Where's that
Vegas.
fight taking place?
Is
Is
it?
it
I think it's in Vegas.
this weekend?
Yeah, this
Yeah,
weekend.
it's in Vegas.
Okay, I'm gonna look and see about going. I'm gonna be there.
Yeah, it's in Vegas. Yeah, it's gonna be major.
So that's he put it on. He's like it came up on live yesterday. He's like Tank was like, you sure? Tank called. He's like, hey, in the contract. And Brian Garcia's like, yeah, put it in the contract. You walk away. He's like, you got to bet. He's like, you got to bet.
That's major. Oh, that's major. That's a lot of. That's a lot, bruh. I mean, it's gonna be a good
Tank for the W. It is. I just don't know if I'm putting all my money on the line on that. I gotta make sure I get something out of it.
That part. I ain't taking no butt whooping for nothing.
Nah. I can compensate what I don't get from your purse in endorsements on the back end. Okay.
Sure. That part, Jason. I'm just not doing it, man. I can't.
No.
That's a huge flex to be like, I'm putting up double-digit millions on the fact that.
So do we know how much it is per?
I'm not sure. I didn't get a chance to see what.
I'm looking for it now. I'm trying to see if I can find it.
Please do.
That's
I don't know.
That's too much.
That's the ultimate in believing. If believing yourself as a person, that's
facts.
That part, boy. But you're supposed to be talking about your skills. I mean, if that says how confident Tank is, to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, additionally, how Ryan as well, because he took the bet. That's like a Matrix Mike bet. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got money. Go ahead, bet it.
I got something for y'all. Hold on. Let's see. Did it? Because I don't know. I didn't know he said that, but here we go right here.
Yeah, that's it right there.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. The whole person. Yeah. I have to bet. Yes, let's bet. You hear me on the line? Let's bet. So everything is that you. I know. Let's go. Let's make a contract. Let's sign it. Both of them. Let's do it. Okay, and if you don't really want it, hold on. You
always got that hype person in the back.
Yeah.
You always got that hype person in the back who ain't got nothing to do with nothing. It didn't say it right there. It didn't say. They
didn't say what the persons were, but basically it's saying.
And they probably won't tell us. I mean, we won't find out probably before the fight.
That could just be the ultimate promotion, basically.
Yeah,
but the mindset of it, like y'all say, I understand what y'all saying completely. Like, am I finna put up millions? We're talking about millions of dollars on my skills, and that's like the ultimate buy into your skills. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's like Larry Bird coming in and be like, I'm putting up my purse for the 3-point contest. Ain't none of y'all beating me. And we know Larry.
Yeah. So Larry was built different, though. I would take that bet with him. Okay, I would take that bet. That Larry did that. He walked into the All-Star game and said, "Which one of y'all finished second?
Yeah,
because y'all not winning this."
Like Larry or Steph,
and he did it.
Yeah, that's like Larry or Steph. Like, you could almost expect like you're not losing that. You know what I'm saying? That's a little bit different.
Here it is. This is what they say. This is what they say it is right here. Bet entire $2.75 million purse on world title war. So it's 2.75 million. 2.75.
Almost 3 million. Yeah, okay. Well, I guess that's not, you know what I'm saying, when you look at their lifestyles in the world and how they get down. But
I would have thought it was more than that. I would have thought.
Well, we're probably.
I'm sure it is.
We're probably looking at it from that's probably just for the salary. We're not looking at endorsements and
everything at the gate. Everything else.
So the base is the basis.
Or is that 2.75 per?
That might be. Yeah, it might be.
Like if I don't make that bet and I lose, I can still get 2.7. But if I'm putting up my 2.75 and your 2.75, ain't talking about.
I think that is per
5-4.
Yeah, and that happened 6 minutes ago. Yeah.
It don't matter. There is $1 million behind that. Okay, not 275.
No, that
M not 2750.
Yeah, that M means a lot. That M means a whole lot. Yeah, that M means a lot. Yeah.
I mean, I think I think Calvin said regardless, 2.7 is a lot to a lot.
Exactly.
To anybody, 2.7. I mean, come on, man.
I think that 2.7 is worth risking. You know, what I'm saying bragging rights because basically that's what happened. You take the belt and in Ryan's case,
the
he
money?
takes the belt and the money.
But check it out. What if they brought the money in the bag? So they grabbed it. You got the belt and then the bag.
I would say what we do. We gonna do this
Then you
WWE.
have a security. Then you have a security concern.
Hey, look. hey, why don't you go ahead and just hang it above the rim like Money in the Bank from WWE?
So,
man.
I would just say this: if you bet your purse on you, if you're so sure in an outcome that you bet your purse on a fight, I'm sorry, I can't do that.
You can't do it. Y'all do it, Commissioner?
Because it's just like Martin said. I ain't tell y'all I wasn't gonna get knocked out. I ain't say but I'm gonna get paid. I can tell you that I'm gonna get paid.
But I gotta give it to Brian Garcia because when Tank brought it to his attention, he didn't hesitate.
No, he didn't say,
yeah, he's like,
let me get back to you.
Yeah,
he said, put it in the contract. Let's go.
Put it in the contract.
Let's go.
But you know who's kicking him though? All his people around him are like, yo,
what are you doing, bro? What are you doing?
lose?
Man. And that's not on a knockout. That's just on a win or lose.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, I don't know.
Knockout, but
I don't know. Mike, I don't know if you heard it because I think you dropped off, but that fight is in Vegas this weekend.
Ooh.
Yeah, ooh, that's what I said. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. we there. We are there.
Let me make sure.
I wouldn't have done that. I just wouldn't have done that. But watch me like end up running into that dude on the
on the strip.
I have met so many people in the airport, man, and I be just talking to them like Ron Harper just sitting up in there just chilling, missed his flight and just you just meet people in the airport and it's like, hey,
talk to them like, were you really serious about what do you think about that bet now?
Yeah.
It's like I got a bet going on for dinner. You see a whole $2 million. So, transition a little bit. Shout out to Jarrett Jackson Jr. as the awards are coming out. Named the Defensive Player of the Year for 2023. Averaging 3 blocks a year. No one's done that since the days of Akeem Olajuwon.
Real quick, Trey.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Jason and Mike. Yes, it is. I just see 5 hours ago. It'll be at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas.
T-Mobile. Yep. Okay. Right behind New York. I know exactly where that is.
Yeah. Just a heads up. Go ahead, Trey. My fault.
Yeah. So Jarrett Jackson Jr. named Defensive Player of the Year. Do y'all see anyone else that probably was more deserving of this award, or do you think the NBA got it right with the vote? The voters got it right.
Oh, that's
I
right.
don't see a problem with it.
That's all week, isn't it, of these awards?
Yeah. I don't see an issue with it. I think he's deserving. I mean, you know what? We can say that there's many players out there that are probably deserving, but I mean, I think for the most part they got it right. I agree with it.
Mm-hmm. Of course, we know more awards are coming. Yesterday we talked about it briefly. Jason, who gets MVP this year in your opinion?
This is what I want to hear. Oh, he fell off. No, don't want to answer that question.
I think someone called him. That's what happened.
Probably so because it was kind of.
But where we go? Let's tap in and talk about these.
I'm here.
Oh, Mike there.
Who gets MVP this year? Commissioner Meyers
for the NBA.
Yes, sir.
Oh man, that's a tough one. This is probably going to be a tough year for the NBA for voting. I'm going to be completely honest. I like Donovan Mitchell.
That's a
wow. That's
a dark horse. Yes, that's a dark horse, definitely.
Okay.
I know it's a dark horse, but I like that. You got to think Donovan Mitchell came over from Utah to Cleveland, and that has completely turned Cleveland around.
Okay.
So I definitely think I definitely think that's a sleeper. It's a dark horse, but he's had that team. That team has been playing well all year. So I think that's a good.
You talking MVP?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they're gonna. Okay, so I got two things here. I think they're gonna give it to Embiid. Okay, I just think it's gonna go to Embiid.
Given,
but if you want,
is it deserved? Do you think it's?
Oh, I mean, I think he gets it this year. Yes.
Okay.
I mean, again, I think there's a bunch of players out there that probably deserve it, but I don't think it's gonna go to Jokic again. Not for a third year in a row. There's players there. I just think this is the year Embiid gets it. And if you want a dark horse, someone that probably nobody's talking about, but Brunson from the Knicks.
Knicks, Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, Jalen Brunson.
Yeah,
I mean, he like Mike said, he left and came over to New York and it just brought them to a whole nother level. And then they brought Josh Hart in too. Yeah. So I mean, but Brunson, he left Dallas, and Dallas is, they said it the other day when I was down there. I was listening to them talk about letting Brunson go, and then they're like, Mark Cuban's kicking himself in the head right now. How do you not? You could have signed him for so much cheaper last year, but you let him go. I mean, yeah. Knicks with the same thing, because the Knicks could have taken Spider as well, from Utah, but they let him go and they took Brunson instead, which in my opinion doesn't look that bad right now.
Right now,
but but Brunson to me, and obviously I don't think he's gonna get it. I know he's not even really probably in the running, but I do think he's deserving of at least to be in the conversation this year. Averaging like 24, 25 a game, something like that.
I think Donovan Mitchell should be in the conversation. That's just me.
He should. But I think Embiid gets it.
Last night, of course, it was a couple of games which we had last night. I want to ask y'all guys in just a brief second. Is this series over? Of course, the Brooklyn Nets faced off with the Philadelphia 76ers. 76ers.
That series is over. Let's just stop there. That series is over. Yeah, they done. Let's not waste your airtime talking any more about that one. Philly's gonna win that. If it goes 5, I'd be shocked. But I think that one's done. That's a sweep. Unless they steal one back in Brooklyn. But going from Philly to Brooklyn ain't that far anyway. No jet lag, no nothing. That one's over, my opinion. I wasted too much time on it already.
We talked about that yesterday, which of course Bishop is a Brooklyn Nets fan, in which I'm
sorry.
Sentiment like it's over, bro. It's not. They're not. And he was upset because he's like, you're saying Philly's going to get swept, but then because we had a conversation about Boston, or in which he was like, Boston's not getting swept. Isn't sweeping. Isn't sweeping. Who are they playing? Whoever's the 7th seed is like Boston's not sweeping them. He's like, but I was like, yeah, bro, it's over for them as the 6-3 seed. I was like,
it's a bad matchup.
It is.
It's a bad matchup, Bishop. I'm sorry to say, Brooklyn, with everything they went through this year and then losing Durant, and it's a bad matchup to play Philly in the first round. If they get a game, they should be lucky, count their stars, go out and celebrate at Ruth Chris or something. But that one's a wrap.
Okay, let's transition back to the West. Last night game, we all saw it. Draymond Green ejected, but the Sacramento Kings did walk away, putting the Golden State Warriors down 2-0 for the first time. Since what was that, the 2007, 2009 or something like that. Is it a possibility that Golden State gets swept, gentleman sweep, or one win, or can they win this series?
So here's what I say about that. Look at Golden State this year. They are horrible on the road.
Correct.
And almost unbeatable at home. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now you take that and you add in the fact that they would have to go game 7 back to Sacramento. I almost want to say Golden State in 7.
Oh,
I think the experience takes over in game 7. Game 7 is a different animal. Okay, game 7 is a different animal. And here's the other thing: depends. Does Draymond get suspended?
Okay, yeah. If he gets, okay. But does you think the suspension of Draymond is going to have an impact?
Yes.
Okay.
Always does.
Golden State in 6.
Mike says Golden State in 6. I think Golden State wins the next 2 at home. Is it 2-3-2 or 2-2-1-1-1? I don't know what it is in the first round, but
it's 2-2-1-1-1.
Okay, so I'll tell you this. I think Golden State evens the series at home. Okay. And I think they obviously have to steal one in Sacramento. And if they do, they win it in 6. If it goes back to 7, though, it's just going to be tough to win in Sacramento. But I think the experience of Clay, Draymond, Steph, and all the rest of the guys, I think it pulls them off, in my opinion.
Mm. And which, yeah, it's not Draymond's. I ain't gonna say tactics, just the Draymond's act like unnecessary stuff that puts his team in bad predicaments. In which
I don't think.
know.
Hold on.
Wait a minute.
I don't think.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, I don't think he. I don't
Wait a
think
minute.
he should have got. I don't think he should have got ejected.
Why not? He stomped on the man.
No, he did not.
That's like
He
you
did
said.
not.
That's like you saying that AI didn't stomp over Tyronn Lue.
Listen to me. Draymond Green is what, 6'9"?
NBA 6'9". Yeah, okay.
Yeah, 6'9", probably 240, 250, right? Do you really believe if he stumped on his chest, he'd have been able to get up and do it and continue to play basketball?
Draymond is one of the strongest men in the NBA.
Thank you.
So
you think he stumped on his chest?
I'll say that. Let me because I got 2 parts of this. Look,
okay. And
Sabonis.
You're official, Bishop. You disgust me.
Okay. See, I'm not going to talk from the official standpoint yet, because from the official standpoint, it was warranted what he did. Okay. But by the look, by the act, what happened. From an official standpoint, he's got to go.
He's got to go. It's demonstrative.
Right. Right. Exactly. But Sabonis did act. Draymond did stomp him, but he did not like fully mud stomp a hole through him. But he did stomp him, okay? But Sabonis helped it out with the acting too. But from an official standpoint, that's an ejection. That's automatic.
No, it doesn't matter if he stomped him or not. The act is why he was ejected.
Yeah, because he stepped on. Yeah, because he stepped on another player.
But if you're grabbing at my knee to prevent me from getting up, from going down the floor, that is also an ejection.
You're right.
That is not a basketball play. That is a play where you could be injured.
Mike, I'm going to tell you this though.
So what I saw was Sabonis failed.
Grabbed him.
And he tried to guard himself from being stomped on. It just so happened that Draymond's ankle was there. Draymond pulled his ankle.
Oh, his ankle.
His ankle, bro, stop it, Trey.
He pulled his ankle.
Everybody making it seem like making it seem
Sabonis, like Sabonis, put it up. Yeah, there you go.
This is not doing any of this, bro. This is not what he did, bro. Stop it, man.
That's stopping a mud hole.
Yeah, that's not.
But hey, no, I will tell you.
How long did you have to search for that clip last night to be ready for this morning?
Hey, that was like one of the first things that came up, man. I really did
wow.
I'm just really like this, bro. So this is why I say he really didn't stop him, because if you pause everything and you really look at it, Draymond Green is half bent down. So he's not even pressure. He's loading.
I know he's loading up. That's what's going on. He's loading up.
Oh, like I said, he didn't fully mud stomp him. He didn't fully mud stomp him, but he did step on the man and step over the man. He imagine when Iverson stepped over Tyronn Lue. If he would have stepped on Tyronn Lue.
Hold on, Jason. Hold on.
No, he stomped over. He stomped over Tyronn Lue.
What did you say, Jason? What did you say?
When he stepped over Tyronn Lue.
He stepped over him.
Right, you're right. He did. He stepped over him. But that was the kind of demonstrative act that Draymond was doing there. He stepped. Oh, you're right here. Let me just go and step on and over you a little bit real quick.
Have you seen the latest commercial with Candace Parker, Kelsey Plum in them, and they showed a girl the Arabic girl that has the handles, and she sit up and hits my man, drops him, and when she drops him, she stomps over him to mimic that in which Tyronn Lue was stomped over.
No, that's not what AI did though. He didn't stomp over Tyronn Lue. And I'm telling you,
that's a stop. Hey,
man.
Hold on. Why? Hey, watch the ready. Yeah. He puts his foot. He puts them size 16s. Right. Watch this angle right here. Hold on, Mike. Hold on, Mike. Ready? Yeah. Right there. That's where he stopped on him. Then he used him as a springboard and jumps off him.
But he didn't springboard off of him with his.
It don't matter, right? Right there.
Look, he didn't use his stomp foot. He used the other foot.
It don't matter. The right foot goes up and comes down on Sabonis' chest. Right there. That's all you need.
And then his whole body is propelled into the world.
The guy acted, and I think it's look, it's an act. It's the left leg. That's right. Thank you, Cal. Coach Cal know what I'm talking about. He did it because Draymond Green is a character and he's silly, and he kicked.
Wait, he did what? He just said he kicked.
He kicked like look at the kick at the end. Look at the kick. Look at the kick.
Look, this is the part right. Hold on. Oh, he cut it off.
My bad.
Right there. That's what they got him for. When he picked it, when he broke his foot away from the hold and put his foot back down on his chest. Wait, it doesn't matter how hard you come off after that. That's what got him run.
Did he grab his leg,
Sabonis should have gotten hit with a T. Sabonis should have got hit with a T, but when he did that,
you can't grab. If you grab my ankle, right?
That's technical foul.
You're gonna get stomped. You're gonna get stomped.
Well, they always say, "Don't Mike, you always catch the second one, right? Not the first one."
Mike said, "Man, Draymond jumped off."
Hey, here you go. I'll bring something into this that we ain't talked about. That's Draymond's reputation.
Look, his sternum is hurting. His sternum is hurting before. Look, then he wins the Oscar. That's worse than LeBron James, man. That's worse than LeBron James.
That is.
Yeah.
Acting is so bad, bro.
I told y'all it was overkill.
If Draymond Green,
you can imagine he's yelling.
If Draymond Green had stomped that dude, he would still be on the floor right now.
That part.
So
I totally agree.
It is definitely an overreaction.
He would be still.
We cannot.
Hey, let's be real. Let's be real. Let me tell you why Draymond got thrown out.
Let's be real.
He's Draymond.
Reputation.
He's Draymond, yeah.
Because if that role is reversed and that's Sabonis that steps on Draymond like that, they definitely whack him, but I don't think they'd throw him out. They probably whack both of them.
No, that was demonstrative enough that the ref would have thrown. It
could have been. Out. But Draymond's reputation is what got Draymond thrown out.
Yeah.
He's our today's Bill Laimbeer. It just is what it is.
No, but he's today's Dennis Rodman, today's Ron Artest. Remember, Ron Artest gave James Harden a real concussion,
as opposed to an NBA concussion.
With the LB,
no, like a concussion like that shit hurt. Like
with the elbow.
Yeah, he elbowed him. It was
Then we all seen what Draymond did while he was on the sideline. Taunting the fans and hollering at the fans, and
in the official's face.
Yeah, Draymond doing Draymond antics. Draymond doing Draymond antics. You know what I'm saying? Here, matter of fact, here it is right here. Draymond doing Draymond antics. And I think this is the reason why they do what they do to Draymond, because Draymond adds so much extra. He gets his own Oscar because this is Draymond. He gets his own Oscar because look, this is Draymond. He yelling, he hollering, look, and his teammates just watching.
Yeah, his teammates are watching because they ain't trying to get fined.
Hey,
the commissioner is watching, and when
this is right after the game.
What you're saying is
this is right after the incident. Right now, the officials are looking at the incident to see whether or not Draymond should be ejected.
Oh, run! Yeah,
this is right after the incident.
Adam Silver.
There's Adam Silver. Hey, get that mofo out of here. Hey, get that dude. Hey, get that dude out of here.
Adam Silver just whispered to his deputy, just like I'd be talking to Ace. I'd be like, "Hey,
he's whispering right at him.
He's saying a good one. I'd be looking.
He's looking right at him, and this is.
And you know who's home smiling? David Stern.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
David Stern dead, man.
That's just Draymond, man. That's just who he is. and that's why he finds himself in the predicaments in which he finds himself.
Nah, he might not be back for the rest of the series.
You think he'd be gone for the series?
He's gone for the series.
No. Look, remember, play the NBA politic game. He's not gone for the series. He probably gets a one
game. He's going to get a 2-game suspension for sure.
I think it's one. I think it's due to the fact of what Golden State means to the NBA. He gets a 1-game suspension.
Some people don't care what Golden State means to the NBA.
I understand.
Draymond Green, just like who else is it? Another dirty player. Even Ron Artest, Dennis Rodman. What the NBA had to do to fix them and keep them under control was they had to attach like multiple games. And so when Ron Artest hit that dude, man, he was gone for a couple games.
Yes.
They gave Derek Fisher, when Derek Fisher blew up the screen against Louis Scola.
Yeah.
They gave him a game. You have to send a message to these players that this is not going to be tolerated. Period. You can't just be egging the crowd on like that. And then the commissioners in the front row, oh no, you're getting suspended, bro.
That's like being at
the commissioners on the third row. If you act on your behind and I'm there and you know I'm there, I'm gonna call Jason and be like, Jay, y'all need to handle that.
Yeah.
Jason knows we have had this conversation. Hey, y'all need to handle that. y'all handle it at the conference level.
Right.
Calvin, you wrong for that.
That's why the team was cheering him on. It's like, hey, he like Debo. He's like, hey, he go back and look at this video. Don't see none of us cheering him on. We might have to deal with that later on. So going on, of course, we got 3 games tonight: Atlanta and Boston, New York and Cleveland, and the series is Boston in European. Okay, Atlanta get one.
You broke up a little bit.
You broke up. Say it again, Trey.
Yeah, we couldn't hear you.
I'm sorry. Is Atlanta in those 3 series? Atlanta, Boston, New York, Cleveland, and Phoenix, and the Clippers. Of course, all of them we have. The New York is up, the Clippers are up, and Boston is up. Are any of those series sweeps?
Oh no, I got to ask Ace because he's going to be at the playoff game in Atlanta.
Game 4.
Yeah, he'll be there, so we'll know then. But I mean, that could be a sweep. I don't know, man. It just depends. I mean, Trae Young's playing well.
Yeah, I think Atlanta. I don't think the Atlanta-Boston game is a sweep. I think Atlanta will get one at least. It might be a gentleman's sweep. I mean, we'll just look everything that's been going on with Atlanta. And I was talking to somebody the other day where the entire organization flew out after what they said about trading him. I don't think it's a sweep. I think they get one against Boston. I do think obviously Boston wins the series. So I don't think any of them are going to be a sweep personally.
Okay.
I don't know why they would that's just a blunder, man. You don't trade your best player. I don't understand that.
Hey, man, that's ownership for you. They're blowing it up. But I will say this as far as I think the Knicks Cavs goes 6 or 7. I think those are the 2. I mean, it's a 4-5 matchup. It's going to be a back and forth. I mean, the Knicks did get one in Cleveland. They just got to hold home court when they get back home. So if they do that, I think they can wrap that up.
Square Garden, they can taste it, man. The Knicks are still the Knicks, but they don't become the Knicks until the finals.
Right.
The Knicks in the playoffs are good.
So the one that's intriguing me though is that Clippers Phoenix game, and that's without Paul George.
That's what I was telling Trey yesterday, Jason. That's the series for me, right?
Ooh, I don't know. That was just I did not expect Phoenix to drop that game at home.
Me either. That was a huge one for
I mean, don't get me wrong. I know Chris Paul is probably more hurt than he's letting on, and that more hurt than what we see. But I mean, he still played a decent game. But I just couldn't believe they dropped that game. I thought they were going to definitely win that game at home. Some people were actually talking on TV before the series started that it was going to be Phoenix in 5.
No, it's Phoenix. It's just like it's the Knicks and it's the Sacramento Kings. It's Phoenix.
Are the Kings the Kings? Are the Kings the Kings if they upset the Warriors?
Ooh.
Or are they something different then?
What a 2-0
I would say they are something different. Definitely.
They got a good young core group there.
They do.
You know, first of all, everything that you looked online for social media was like, yo, the Kings are for real, for real. Like, they're for real. So
no one's going to believe them until they put Golden State away.
If they beat Golden State, that's good. But if they don't, if Steph Curry goes back to Golden State and he puts the seasoning in there with the chicken, I'm sorry. I mean,
that's why I said Golden State's at home.
If they win 2 in Golden State, it's a wrap. The
It's
series is over. What Sacramento has to do in this series is they have to go up 3-0. Game 1, the first game in Golden State is an elimination game for Sacramento.
That part, good. There you go, Mike.
So,
there it is.
So if they go to Golden State and they beat the Warriors and they go up 3-0, that series is over. It's over.
So what you're saying is Sacramento's got to put a foot stomp on Golden State.
They do. And
I agree with him.
If they let Curry and Thompson, if they let them have the game of their life in game 1 or in the first game in game 3, that series is over.
It is.
It's over because it's just gonna be a steamroll all the way. They'll lose 4 straight.
That momentum is going to carry Golden State into a victory.
Because when the Warriors smell blood, they just put you away.
Yeah.
They don't worry about it. They just put you away.
But this is not that team, Mike. I'm sorry. I got what you're saying, but this is not that team. That team could win on the road. This team has been horrible on the road all year this year. Now, I did say earlier they will win at home. Okay. But Sacramento's not just going to roll over either. I think they go back to Sacramento 2-2.
Yeah. It's Sacramento. Okay. They lost a game 7 on the road.
Mike, none of them players were even born then. Them players don't care about that.
Doesn't matter. It's the ghost. They still got the same people. They still got the same folks.
Same what?
They still got Vlade Divac in management up there in Sacramento. Hey. They still got, what's my man's name? Pretty Ricky, what they call him. What's his name? Matt.
You talking about Matt?
Not Matt Barnes, the other one. Doug Christie.
Mike Bibby? Doug Christie.
They got Doug Christie up in there. That it's not that kind of party, man. If they lose 2 games in Golden State is gonna go into flip mode. And they're going to be like, oh, we can rent on the road. We win 1 more on the road. We can end the series at home.
We can get back home.
I agree. I totally agree with him. I totally agree.
Yeah. Well,
Golden
State.
Do you all think of course, like I said, if he win, so that's different because it's 3, like we said, it's 2-2-1. So is it
1-1-1?
1-1-1. So is it do you think it's a possibility that if Golden State, if Sacramento was to get 1, not just the first one, but this one of the 2 in there, can they be victorious?
They cannot. They have to get game 4.
Game 4.
Like I said, the elimination games for Sacramento are game 3 and game 4. If they lose those 2 games, the series is over. I'm just telling you right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with Commish. I do. You cannot afford to allow Golden State to stick around. You cannot.
You got to put the women and children in the bed. You got to put them to sleep.
You got to bury them. It's like a 15-round boxing match. If you let them stick around, they're gonna come back and get you. And I feel like we ain't seen. And that's the bad thing is Steph ain't went off yet. That's the thing. Steph.
Game 3, he's gonna go off. They're gonna have a crowd. They're gonna have a ref. He's gonna be at home. He's gonna be doing this whole, the 3-point thing, the mouthpiece and all that. Everything he does.
If you look at Golden State lower, you don't want them to get the game 6 either, because then that's when Klay Thompson comes out the booth. So it just depends. It's going to be speculative, of course, but of course now let me look at it. Golden State down 0-2. Philadelphia is up 2-0. And now you have 3 teams tonight staring down those same barrels in Atlanta, Cleveland, and Phoenix, oddly enough, in which we'll get a chance to see how all that ends up turning out. series is 2-3-2. Okay, so they are going to have 3 in
That's what I thought it was. I
okay.
thought it was 2-3-2 as well.
Oh, they went back. They went back to it. They went back to that format.
Yeah,
So
I thought it was
2-3-2.
So if it's 2-3-2 format, they got to win one game. They have to win. They have to win one game in
If Golden State win all 3, it's a wrap.
Game 6 is over. It don't matter if they on the road, at home, on the moon, playing at North Crowley High School. It don't matter.
Yep, it's a wrap. Yeah, they gotta win. Yeah, I totally agree on that one. So I thought it was 2-3-2. I didn't know it. I was like, what?
So of course,
Phoenix is down too, right? You said Phoenix is down.
Yes, they down 1-0.
1-0. They play tonight. Game 2.
If the Clippers win tonight, then the Clippers are going to win that series.
So y'all hear the hot takes from the commissioner of the NBA Military Basketball Association, Commissioner Meyers. Before we get ready to get up out of here, any last words, sir?
Yes.
No, just really proud of you guys for the platform, letting players and coaches and sports directors and all kinds of folks come on here, tune in to the Pac West page, NBA page, because there's the Pac West tournament is this weekend. Obviously, the West Coast teams are going to be playing, and then obviously, we've got the NBA finals, and we've got some really exciting things that we're going to be putting out here in the next couple of days and weeks about what's happening in Wichita, Kansas. So thanks to you guys, and I really appreciate it.
No problem, sir. So of course you got that. It's a whole vibe when y'all look at military basketball. So many different entities that come together, but they all in state. They come one begets the other, helps another. Ideally, you get games played, competitions for them to set up to be able to play. And what we even talked about all the way from April, y'all just hear Commissioner Meyers speak on the Pac West Championship, National Military Basketball the following week. Then there's a slight break. Then you get the NBA getting their top teams in Wichita, Kansas to get ready to lace them up and play each other for the NBA championship with a lot of events and stuff going on. After that, then you got the AAU Battle of the Crest that's going on in Orlando, and then come back with another Military Basketball Association event, their All-Star game as they do their Coaches Summit. That's 6 months of game going on in which you can tap in and support your local military installations across the world and get tapped in. Any words, Bishop, before we get over here, brother?
Man, I just appreciate Jason and Commissioner Meyers coming on here, man, giving their input and letting everybody know, keeping them aware of the NBA, Military Basketball Association, and what's about to take place, man. If you're excited about basketball and basketball is your sport, check out the NBA because it is fantastic as well. Great players who play a great game of basketball on the hardwood floors. I'm looking forward to next weekend. I'm going to be there. I'm there here in San Antonio for that tournament. I'm here for that, man. I can't wait. Looking forward to meeting everyone in person and getting the opportunity to check out some outstanding basketball.
That's it. Our show for today. We greatly appreciate rocking with us. Y'all know where to find us every Monday through Friday, every week, 09 to 1100 hours, right here, falling in with us, tapping in. If ever you want to get on the show, you got something to talk about, we feel like it's all about, y'all heard Commissioner Meyers talk about it, platform. Everything is platform. If you have an opportunity to give a platform to someone to speak on it, then afford them an opportunity. You never know what comes about. It's me, your boy Trey, Commissioner Meyers from the NBA, and my man
Free Draymond.
Free Draymond.
Josh, Free Draymond. Tap in tomorrow. We look forward to seeing y'all. Let's go Lake Show. Y'all heard it here. We out. Cut the music.